Alright. We have one goal, and that's just to play chess and not crash out. So I just played one just as a little warm-up, and then made sure the OBS and everything's working. But yeah, I cut all my hair off because I had too much of it, and shaved my beard. Not really for any life-altering reason, I just didn't feel like having it anymore. It's nice to do every once in a while. Just 'cause I just don't like having a lot of hair. But it's nice with a beard as well. I've had it for so long too. Alright, looks like this person does not want to play. But yeah, I had to make a new account because I crashed out. He's probably gonna want to push this up to, yeah, he's gonna want to do stuff over there. So bring this down, secure this pawn. He's gonna want to go there. Just make this line go up. Then it gives me the ability to castle in either direction, which I probably just want to do kingside, but I do kind of want to get rid of that bishop. That's fine. Gives me two moves. Alright, so I could in theory go to there. It doesn't really do much for me, and I could castle to the queen's side, but what's up, little? But I don't really want to do that, so what we're going to do is attack the middle a little bit. And bring that guy over. I wish there was a way for me to get my coffee without hitting my microphone. So I think this is a mistake, unless there's something I'm missing, because I can do this and threaten his queen, and then take there. Now we're threatening here and threatening there, so that was pretty bad for him. I can say for sure. Or sizzle. What's my wish? I don't know. I get everything I want, so my wish is that you get your wish. But all depends on what the rules for the wish are, you know. Is it for literally anything, or is there some things you can wish for, some things that you can't? Yeah, it's too nebulous of a thing. Because if there's no rules, I just wish for unlimited wishes, and then we're chilling. And then the list is infinite there. But if there's context on the rules, what you can wish for, what you can't wish for, all that jazz, then obviously changes stuff as well. So I don't know. It's too vague of a question for me, unfortunately. Not in a bad way, but just usually there's rules to it. I told, if there's no rules, so matching, if you're not giving me any rules to the wishes, it would be unlimited wishes. And anyone saying anything different, if there's no rules to the wishes, is telling a lie. So if I can't wish for unlimited wishes, that changes what my wish would be. Let's see. Let me just go here. When it goes there, we can take. No, not my bun. We're still chilling though. I actually didn't see that at all. What country do I live on? I live on the United States. Live right on top of it. But if English is not your first language, you would say, what country do you live in? Because nobody lives on a country, you live in a country. So, a different preposition there. Just like you live in a house, you sit on a bed, like it's different. England? Then why are you typing on instead of in? Again though, English could be not your first language because prepositions are a relatively complicated aspect of grammar. It's not super easy. Okay. Just have to make sure I'm playing fast enough as well. So were you born in England, or is my assumption that English is not your first language a correct one, based on your prepositional usage? Family or gaming? Like, which would I rather choose? Gaming is more convenient, so I don't necessarily choose one or the other. My family that I would go and see lives 3 hours from my house, so the convenience of it would influence my choice, but I'd rather hang out with my family, especially if it was convenient for like travel wise, if I didn't have to think about the 3 hour and 20-minute drive to go up and see them. So on like a normal day, then I would say 100% gaming, but if you take out the need for the travel, then I'd rather go hang out with him than play a video game. I think we're okay if we do this, because then he goes down there. Okay, I don't have any time though, so I kind of lose. No, I do Olympic weightlifting, so I don't do bodybuilding. Play too slow in this one. Good problem to have though. You can always play faster. Always play better, but Yeah, just play too slow. I just gotta play faster. Like, I was playing well on that one, I just did not play fast enough. You don't really have to feel bad for me, I just play chess. I'm just playing chess for fun. I don't feel bad for me, so you shouldn't feel bad for me either. I think if we do this. Okay. No, I messed that up. Yikes. Oh well. I just played as black, so we're gonna see if chess.com will actually let me play as white. Here we go. I've actually never have tried to do any sort of bodybuilding specific training, or at least like training to be a bodybuilder. I did training for sports, for powerlifting, and then now for weightlifting. I've never really understood the appeal of doing bodybuilding, to be honest. It feels too abstract to improve at. Like, you can see yourself get bigger or whatnot, but it doesn't really feel like it's a real thing in the sense. I don't know, it's hard to exactly describe, but I've never really valued the aesthetics of how I look. It's hard to measure too. You can measure like literal larger muscles that you have, but I don't know, I feel like you kind of get to your natural limit pretty quick, or once you're there, there's not like a huge optimization that you can do. You just kind of do the same thing. You keep eating and lifting. And I guess as well, bodybuilding is just really easy to do. You just do volume. You just do repetitions, so it's not you don't really have to be challenged as far as your coordination or really even like programming. Frankly, it's just do reps again, and do reps again. You just always do reps, lots of reps. And I suppose like at the really high levels, if you're trying to win in a certain competition, you need to improve a certain area, then I suppose then that makes it more interesting for some people, but I've never really cared. Thankfully, I've pretty good genetics for putting on muscle and just like the general aesthetic that I have, but it's never been like I really cared. feel like he messed up something there. I feel like his move is something that I like to do where it's wrong. You were still vibing. My goal for Olympic weightlifting is at first, well, you just typed your question. Can't give me more than a millisecond. My goal for Olympic weightlifting is to get to a 300 total at first, which is, you know, the most, like, you know, that's what I want to do. So between the snatch and the clean and jerk, like lifetime as far as weightlifting goes is to snatch 140 kilograms, so 308 in pounds, and 175 kilos in the clean and jerk. I don't really have specific goals as far as strength goes, it just is to get stronger. It isn't really anything super specific with that, but obviously getting stronger does help with performance. Alright. So he doesn't see that. Alright, we're bleeding time as well. But I mean, there's always like specific goals with specific exercises and derivatives of those movements. But as far as like global goal, so 300 total. And then as far as like a more longer term lifetime goal is to probably, I would say like a 310 total, to have enough to qualify, not that I'm going to, but to do the American Open finals. I think right now it's like 307 or 308. So it's not a extremely impossible number to do. But yeah. Catching up on time, which is good. He does have the ability to give me a bag rank check. Okay. What do I want to do? Probably just go over here. Prevent that check from happening. Yeah, but matching, I don't know if there is a delay. I do have it on like the shortest latency. I think that's what they call it. Let me check. Double check that. Yeah, I have it on ultra low latency. So yeah, I think for me, as far as YouTube goes, it's just a hobby, and I think that everyone should treat it as one. There's no reason to necessarily worry about, you know, increasing or trying to like worry about just increasing. You want to find a passion, and then it doesn't matter whether you have 15 subscribers or 15 million subscribers. If you like what you're posting, it's like this. I'm just playing chess. There's no pressure to what I'm doing. I have a normal job. I love my job, and I don't have to worry about YouTube you know, existing or working. Like my whole channel could disappear tomorrow, and it would be sad because I have a lot of like lifting videos that I didn't want to have, but it isn't it wouldn't be the end of the world for sure. I would just lose a lot of nostalgia. Alright. Then I'm gonna be ignoring you for a second because I gotta lock in. Lock in. Losing again on time, although only 1.5 seconds, so it's a good problem to have right now because I can just play faster. Play more faster. Yeah, but I never really even had a goal. I mean, YouTube kind of builds in, I guess, the goals that you can have for subscribers and stuff, but I never really had a specific thing that I'd want to get to. It was just to see if I can get monetized or whatever. That's still, I guess, kind of the goal. Well, just don't upload bad content, I guess. But it all depends on what you're uploading. If you're uploading like cringe stuff, then people will let you know about it or just not look at it. But at the same time, if you like what you do, whatever your thing is that you do, if you like it, then it's not a it's not difficult to do. I don't know, I've messed this up bad. But I didn't have many subscribers for years, so. Once they introduced shorts, then I was able to get a lot more subscribers. That's what really got me up to basically the number I'm at now. And you know, just my lifts, like it worked well for short type content, so I didn't really have to think too hard about it. I just, you know, posted what I would post normally. At least at my end it says there's 3 people. 3 personas aquí. Oh, I'm actually screwed. Oh well. See if I can win one. After this, I'm gonna go make a snack. So I'm a growing boy. But I just do these live streams when usually at night, or if I don't have anything else to do. So I don't even really I've never really been one to watch streams in general anyway, unless it's I watch it probably a little bit more now. But like I've never gone to like Twitch and to watch stuff. There's just too many ads to make it a stream watchable. And I don't necessarily even mind ads per se, but if you've never watched someone before and you're trying to see if it's something good to watch or not, and it's just ad and ad after ad, then it's like, what am I even doing? Feels like a waste of time, at least with when people are live. At least I have YouTube Premium, so it makes it nice for any YouTube content. I don't have to worry about ads for now, until they eventually take away that feature, which I'm sure they will at some point. And then I'll have to use the old-fashioned method to not experience ads on YouTube. That will thankfully always be a method, unless it's on your phone. They have pretty good control of their app for that sort of stuff. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I'm in it or not. I don't know. I'm not really sure what, like, am I in your for you page? Sure what you mean by that. So I feel like I just ignore him. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm just chilling. Alright. Time for the biggest winning streak of all winning streaks. It's going to be massive. Nice goal. one in a row. I gotta get 2 in a row to actually have a winning streak. Feels good to have my grad school work done. I had a couple assignments. One that wasn't really due today. One that, well, I guess technically neither one of them are due today because they're in a different time zone slightly, so. Oh, Cornell, I sold that. I wanted to, I took out essentially what I would need for grad school in the spring. And I don't have any of the contracts either. I had dumped those prior, so yeah. I mean, I got hammered pretty hard, as everyone kind of did, but now I'm basically just using Robinhood to just hold money. Like, it's just collecting the 4% interest. So I don't plan, or I should caveat that. I decided to I essentially took half out, and I'm just gonna hold half and just cash, or just there, and just let it collect the APY or whatever. The other half, what I'm planning on doing, or what I already did, was to put it into the Roth that they offer on there. So I have my regular retirement, the 457B, and then after the 457B, with my teacher retirement, because with teachers it's like a 401k, but for public school or public like government employees can get it, that, and I think a 403b, but I have a 457b that is remaining the same, but I put half into the Roth, so I max that out for the year, and then the other half is just going to sit there in cash until I pay, essentially I think like May, like the end of May, when I do pay off, or do pay the tuition for my last semester of grad school. After that point, it's just saving and paying off my house slash really, and it's weird because my interest rate on my house is so low, it's 2.75, so there's not really a huge incentive for me to like pay it off super fast, but I would like not to make a house payment, so there is that incentive as well. I don't like him. He's being annoying right now. Just gonna drop down. But yeah, so I'm out of everything, and I fiscally would be irresponsible for me to do anything right now until once grad school is paid for. Then everything I save up, I can basically do whatever I want with. Yeah, my mom was telling me about her 401k got messed up, or got hammered a bit, but it's kind of one of those things that's like, you have that, I mean, anyone that's like, because my parents are closer to retirement, and even if it drops like really hard, like now it's gone up over the years, that's the whole point of it, is to stave off short-term instability in the market, because everything, the market long term, if you hold long enough, will always go up. So I'm not too, for me, I'm not worried about it, because I have, I kind of got to, like, I don't want to say the breaking point, but I was like, all right, like, I just need to make sure I have enough for grad school, bills and whatnot, like and I can just let it sit in there and collect the APY for that I get in general, and then have the Roth. So I do technically have positions. Let me look to see what they are. They're all, I basically looked for a couple of ETFs that have low cost or whatever. I forget what it's called. Yeah, they're still down again. But I have IVV, which is the iShares Core SP 500, SPYG, which is the SPDR Growth ETF, and then the VEA, the Vanguard Developed Markets ETF. They had the lowest like cost thing, and I figured, as far as like the Roth, and that's actually, long term. So like each year you can put in 7,000, and I'm at no point will I make more than what is like the limit for what you can put into a Roth. So what I plan on doing is to put 7,000 in each year, and that will just always go into the Roth. Maintain the 457B, because right now I put in $88 per paycheck, and I get paid twice a month, so it's what, $176 a month, so not a ton, but that I could also increase as my salary increases as well, which would be fine. But each year put that 7,000 into the Roth, and so that will, you know, be good to have in general on top of the 457B. And then also do the, you know, kind of at that point, if I have 7,000 in the Roth each year, I maintain what I've done in the 457B, and really everything else is just like, you know, fun money that I can use in Robinhood and mess around with. It's really just being smart until grad school's done, and then after that I don't really have like other big chunks of things that I'm paying for, unless I wanted to, you know, buy a car, which I don't really need to, but that would be kind of like a general thing to save up for, because my car's probably not gonna last forever, as most cars don't. So I do kind of want to more long term. Like I wouldn't even mind having my car for another 10 years, but in theory I could afford it, but it would certainly make everything, you know, just make everything kind of more annoying, I guess, in some sense, to afford. Right. But yeah, for me, it's really just not being a buffoon and just gambling. But it doesn't feel good, I guess, but it feels nice that it's like, no matter kind of what I've done in the last couple months, it wouldn't have really mattered, because the market just, you know, tanked so hard with the news of the tariffs and stuff. So there's not really much that could have been done to assuage that, at least in the short term. I do think, you know, no matter really how you feel about tariffs, I do think long term that the market going down like this hard will be good in general. I mean, obviously it could be like a huge economic crisis, but the kind of job I have, obviously as a teacher, it's not one that it's my job is pretty recession proof, in the sense that like I will always have a job, because there will always need to be teachers no matter what the economy is like, and teachers are paid through property taxes, so it's not crazy or difficult to maintain your job as a teacher. It will kind of always exist. And I also have the, you know, if there is truly like an economic crisis, and they like, well, phys ed's a state requirement in the state of Ohio, so like they couldn't get rid of that in general. But if they went like really crazy and like had to cut a bunch of phys ed stuff, like I have a special ed degree, so I have the ability to teach kind of regardless of what's going on. This is not good. Yeah. Hate to see it. We don't rematch people though. Yeah, but by far the hardest thing to do with finances is just being patient and not trying to rush the process. And the way that I'm approaching it is that I'm not trying to get fast gains or anything like that. I just continue to teach and I'll have money forever. Enough for retirement and everything else that I'll need. Which for me, what I've kind of realized too is kind of, you talked about this before, Cornell, how it's like really stressful to do with Oh yeah, it's 100%. Like, it's not good. I'm speaking more of how everything's dropping really hard right now, that it will, allow things to become a little bit cheaper in general. But yeah, 100%, it's not good how hard the market's dropping. But at the same time, like, it's always good to hold out hope that they will have a beneficial effect as far as forcing countries that have tariffs on us to take them off and just kind of not be tariffing each other. Because if tariffs are bad when we do it to other countries, it's probably bad when they do it to us as well. So I would think that if we could prevent tariffs from happening in both directions, then it would help the economics here and with the other, well, not, maybe it helps other countries, but like it would help our country, which is obviously more important than other countries subsidizing our essentially our economy and what we can produce. But it certainly will be interesting, and a lot of the short-term instability of the market is kind of irrelevant in a sense, because it's all about how the economy develops long-term, and inflation had been really bad, or continues to be really bad. I think it's slightly improved. I don't know how much or if it actually did. It's hard to tell sometimes with various talking points whether something is actually improved or not. But yeah, it is a tough nut to crack, that is for sure. But you're not wrong there. I think that the consumer is almost always disproportionately impacted by any sort of economic policy. I do hope that as the tariffs continue, or as they happen, that if the economy is going bad, that there will be tax cuts, because that will help anyone that has to pay taxes, which is working class people. But also, if they do something like it could push them to do that dividend thing that they were talking about, which might not be a good thing, because it might create more inflation, but it could be something that helps in the short term for people. But yeah, I still hope that the tariffs work. I think anyone that's like doesn't want them to work is kind of just hoping for the collapse of the economy. It's obviously not good to hope for that, and you kind of hope that the tariffs just don't last a long time either, because I kind of thought he wasn't even going to follow through with them, because I thought the countries would just negotiate and prevent them from happening. But it's kind of a tricky thing, because you don't want to see other countries. It's kind of like the same thing with illegal immigration. Like, you don't want to see it happening, but when you get radical in trying to solve it, then it creates short-term instability in a lot of aspects. But I don't know. And I kind of also think that with how bad inflation had been getting, that the likelihood that we are going to have economic instability was going to be pretty high, regardless of who won the previous election. I don't know if necessarily the tariffs and stuff are expediting the process, but it's hard for me to believe that the amount of inflation, like how expensive just basic necessities were getting, wasn't going to have a downstream negative impact in some regard. That's the tricky part, is we truly won't know until we're 5-10 years past it. Like, it could be another 2008 where the market crashes. Now, for me, I don't necessarily worry about that, or not worry about it. I'm kind of neutral about it. I'm kind of trying to position myself in a way that if the economy does, if there is an economic crash like that, that I'm positioned in a way to where I am not going to be broke, but I'm also not going to I'll be able to take advantage of it. Because that's one thing that honestly it paid for my college. The fact that my dad was able to buy houses during the 2008 market collapse, or at least at some point during that. And I don't necessarily want to be like waiting for that, but at the same time, like, I don't want to not do something related to it, or not be able to. Tax cuts won't do much when the purchasing power is halved and wages. Yeah. You ain't wrong. Alright. But that's a lot to read and process, so let me lose this game really fast. Not good. I like process. Oh yeah, trust me, I have radical thoughts of what we could do to fix like the economy as far as like larger type things. So owning like single family homes should be, I don't want to say illegal for a corporation to do, but really honestly, you know, that's a lot of the nitty gritty. I think honestly the biggest and the most important thing and the simplest thing is that you put a constitutional amendment in that is term limits for anyone that's in elected office, for House of Representatives, the senators. It's already there for the president and whatnot. And you force that in, because the fact that that's not in allows all of this top-down corruption that allows politicians to just sit in politics forever and enrich themselves. Allows the people like Bernie Sanders, like, not that he's not the most egregious example, but I remember back in 2016 he would talk about the millionaires, the millionaires, the millionaires, and now that he's rich enough, now it's billionaires, billionaires, billionaires. And you know, if I were a dictator of the country, you know, you could make radical differences in what you would do, but the idea that suddenly the millionaires aren't a problem just because he's a millionaire or has, you know, millions and millions, and it seemed, you know, like he was a bit or showing a bit of hypocrisy with, you know, saying that when he is one. I mean, politics shouldn't enrich you, and the fact that politicians can trade with insider information should be illegal, and it should be like a 50. It should be as bad as what Bernie Madoff did. The fact that politicians can trade on inside information and make millions of dollars. Politicians shouldn't be able to get donations from anyone. I think that would be an easy thing to do. You have to either pay your own, or there's no like PACs or all of that, like the financial incentives for politicians. And honestly, like a lot of that you wouldn't even really need to fix, I guess, necessarily with term limits. I think mandating term limits for federal elected positions, I think that's a really easy start, and it's one that like 99% of people would vote yes for, whether it's Democrat, Republican, anyone would vote to agree. The only people that don't are the people that want to continue the oligarchy that is just how politics are now. I think in, you know, 200, 300 years, people look back and really disagree with the fact that, you know, we call ourselves a democracy, because it is truly an oligarchy, as Bernie Sanders likes to say, and he's been one that's been in politics for, you know, many years, which is what an oligarchy is. Even if you are electing the people, they are the people that are perpetually in power, and there's not, like, even if you are, well, you or I didn't vote for someone like Bernie Sanders, yet he gets to maintain his grip on power. I feel like I'm just attacking Bernie Sanders, but like someone like that gets to maintain his grip on power his whole life because he's in a country in a state like Vermont, where it's very easy for him to continually win election after election. And the same for true of a lot of House of Representative people, whether it's a Republican in a deeply red state or a deeply blue state, they just perpetually get to win forever. And it's like the fact that Nancy Pelosi is able to essentially stay in politics until she was basically dead is just ridiculous. So there should be term limits, age limits. It just make it 80 years old. You can't be above 80 and win an elected position, or you can't run after 80. So if you're like 78 and then your term would end at 82, that would be the exception. So that would be a second thing. Also, another simple thing would be the banning of political parties on ballots. So you could still be a Democrat or Republican. That's, fine and dandy. But on ballots, it should be illegal to put any party affiliation on the ballot, because that just furthers the idea that the two-party system is what needs to be. You could also do ranked voting systems for senators or representatives. For maybe not for senators, maybe you let senators stay the same, and then for the House of Representatives, the ranked voting system is how many people work for that or something. I don't know, something related to that. But like the Electoral College itself, I think is honestly fine with how it is, because it prevents like California and New York from just running the whole country, which obviously would not be a good thing if two states were just in charge of everyone else. But I also think that what's another simple thing to do? Another simple thing is that if you are providing funding to another country, or funding money or sending money to another country should be generally illegal to do. It should be anti-constitutional, and it should have to be, or it could be done, but it should have to be voted upon by 2/3 of the states, very similar to like how a constitutional amendment is done. So you have to just 2/3 of states has to approve sending money wherever for whatever reason. If you're sending money specifically for military reasons, it should have to be an act of war that is declared, and that act of war should have to be approved by 2/3 of states before it is able, not by Congress, not by the Senate, but by 2/3 of states as well as the Senate. So maybe both of those, 2/3 of the Senate and the House of Representatives and 2/3 of the states. It should be really difficult to send military crap to other countries for any reason. And also it should be illegal. It should be anti-constitutional to send money to any country when we're in a spending deficit. The fact that there's a lot that you can change with the tax code, and I think a lot that would be fixed with the tax code if you just enacted term limits, because I think a lot of everything that happens down is with the assumption that they can continue to have their power, and that's why they do things that are anti-American. I'm not disagreeing with a spending deficit. What I'm saying is that when you're in a spending deficit, you shouldn't be sending military crap to other countries. So if, like America, if we are in a, our deficit is increasing each year, we shouldn't be allowed to send money to other countries for any reason until the deficit is no mas. Basically, I don't want to be wasting our money that you could spend on infrastructure here, on the poor here, on whatever programs you want to do here, versus sending money to Ukraine or whatever country that we're sending to for any reason. They're not our problem. I'm very isolationist, I guess, in that way, but there's no reason to be sending crap to other countries when you don't have it. I mean, I shouldn't pay other people's bills and help other people if I don't have enough money for myself. That's kind of the philosophy. And us as a country, like, there's no one in America voted to send money to those other places, and no single person or any group of people in any state has the power to prevent the Senate from voting on sending crap to other countries. So if you have term limits, you make it should be on should not be constitutional to send money to other countries when you're in a spending deficit or in a deficit. But yeah, spending deficits, it's not bad if you're doing it for economic growth of your own country, but it's hard for me to think about how spending in a deficit to send military aid to Ukraine to do a perpetual war with Russia is beneficial to economic growth in America. We send billions of dollars there when any percentage of that could be used on America to make jobs, build infrastructure. Like, I'm not even saying the government shouldn't spend it at all. Ideally, they wouldn't spend it. They wouldn't waste money, and we would pay less in taxes. But if they're going to spend it, why not spend it here to fix our crumbling, as Bernie Sanders say, our crumbling infrastructure, for aid for people that are poor, for veterans. Like this, there's no reason for us to have anyone that's homeless in the whole United States if we are sending money to other countries. Like, if we had a perfect utopian type country where we don't have any issues, or we have all of these beautiful systems in place to where if someone's homeless or someone has a drug, like, they're making that choice. We don't live in a system that's like that. But I don't know. I don't understand why it's legal to send military stuff to other countries for them to do war. But term limits, we have one with the president. We need it for the Senate and the House of Representatives. I think that is by far yeah. And what do you think about term limits for the Senate and the House of Representatives, German? Because frankly, like, I could ramble on about all of the different specifics about different things, and you could be 100% right. But I think until there's term limits on the Senate and the House of Representatives, until all federal, until it's like a constitutional thing, I don't think that there's a way that the country will be fixed as far as how bad spending is. So I think that's another thing that's hard to argue, is that spending is not necessarily, I don't want to say out of control, but there's too much of it, and there's too much of it that goes to random stuff that doesn't matter to us as an American. Like, it doesn't benefit us. It's like, if I'm going out and buying my neighbor food, yeah, that might help my neighbor, but it's not going to help my household improve. And that's what we're doing for the world. And there's not really a purpose of us helping the world if we can't help ourselves. And there's enough people that are in need to where they should be, we should be helping them instead of sending stuff. But yeah, I don't think it should. I don't understand why we're helping another country in a war. Like, if Ukraine can't stand on its own, then it shouldn't really stand. But that's more of a philosophical difference. I don't think we should be helping unless we're declaring, because I kind of mentioned that, like, unless we're declaring war on Russia, we shouldn't be sending military aid to people. And America doesn't want to do it because it's bad optics. But it's like, if you're going to go in, you go in balls a-blazing. And not, tiptoe and dancing around and sending a little bit, because then it just creates a perpetual problem. But because America doesn't want to do that, or I should say the president and them don't want to do that, then it makes it more obvious that we shouldn't be doing it in the first place. If you don't want to go all the way in, then there's no reason to be just tap dancing around the side, because all it does is just prolong the conflict. So if we didn't do anything, they would have already lost. And if we went full blazing in, then there would have been a resolution of some sort. And I don't think that we should. I think we should do much, much less. But until we have term limits, then people that are essentially politicians are able to be bribed. And that's essentially what they do now. That's why they go in poor and they become rich. It's because they can just take money either through illegal insider trading, which they all like to do, or they get donations from, whether it's over the table or under the table. They just make a lot of money, and it's a very profitable thing to be a lifetime politician. And there's no reason for them to change it when they can just keep doing it. But I need to go make a snack. I'll be right back, Mr. German. Got me ranting and raving all about chess. All right. I 100% agree with that, Cornell. Term limits most likely will never happen. And that's where if there was some sort of, you know, wide-scale revolution, an actual insurrection, that's really the only thing that they would need to do, and that would fix many, many of the issues. I'll blow this candle out. It won't happen until there's a very large-scale change in society that's not probably ever going to happen. It would take really large economic forces to force something like that to happen. Because, yeah, why would politicians vote against the way that they make all their money? It'd be like me voting against being a teacher, just like voting against the existence of teaching. Wouldn't really make any sense. But yeah, I mean, the S&P would have to drop like 90%. Until, honestly, the way that it would actually probably happen is that there would be such a large economic collapse that the people that were the billionaires would have to want it to happen. Because then they would realize, you know, how fragile the system truly is. But no, they want their kickbacks, they want all the benefits of paying their bribes, so they have to continue to make their money. The millionaires and the billionaires. Really, it's hard to say millionaires are really the problem. It's kind of the corporations, the large scale type things. But well, I mean, our Social Security is not even working. Yeah, the funny thing with like the world economy is that people want to crap on America, but like when things start to go bad here, it goes bad for everyone. So it behooves everyone, every country to like work economically well with America. Because our country is so extremely influential on how the world just goes. I mean, I can't imagine being like a small country be like, yeah, we're gonna tariff America, and not think there'd be like some sort of like major consequence to doing that. And they want to say stuff like it's bad that we're tariffing them or whatever. Yeah, but like, you know, people say that, you know, the tariffs that Trump is doing are just inherently bad when it is a part of trade, but it's also like our country is beyond the most, I mean, bar none, the most influential economic power that there is. So the idea that countries would just want to do that, would want to risk that, when it would just have, it's like Canada, it's like they should be the nicest people ever to us because of how devastating we could just destroy their economy with just whatever we do. They don't even need a military because they have ours. Man, this one sucks. All right. That to me crashed me up the most with Canada was that they want to do any, like they would do any tariffs to us. Like we do their military for them basically. But that would be another thing that would be really easy to fix, is that it should be illegal to do trade with countries that use slave labor. There is actually no reason why we should do any trade with China whatsoever when they have actual concentration camps and they use slave labor. Like just be yeah, I can't do that. It's immoral to trade with China when they have those practices. It's not even that like they pay less, like they use literal slave labor and have concentration camps. It's like trading with Nazi Germany. Like it's just not, it should just be a non-starter. Well, it would impact our economy so much. Like, yeah, morals are more important than money. Yeah, I don't really know what the tariffs will end up doing. But yeah, if I was president, that would actually be how I would use tariffs. It would just be tariffing countries that have unfair labor practices like China, and you just tariff them into oblivion until they just they stop. But mine would be much more based on like morals than it would be actual economics, because morals are more important than money. But politicians don't think like that. They don't have morals, unfortunately. Because you really push the world in a good direction if you just prevented countries from using slave labor. I would argue that's probably just a good thing to do morally, but when you allow countries like China to continue to do that, then it's just like, nah, it's okay. We want a fair trade. They don't get to have fair trade. They need to. Well, I don't think it should be like permanent tariffs, but it's essentially you're just trying to push the world in a more positive direction. Because like, yeah, in the short term, their lives probably would be harder, but we also don't think we should be promoting slavery, because that's essentially what we do when we trade with China at this point, is that you're promoting slavery. You're saying that it's okay as far as like an economic policy. I don't think we should. I don't think we should do any trade with the countries that use slave labor in a pretty objective manner. Like, it's not a, well, maybe they do or maybe they don't. It's pretty straight. My understanding of the tariffs, though, is just based on if they had tariffs on us and it was a percentage of what they had tariff. So I have no idea. I didn't look at the list. But it'll be interesting to see how it ends up working out. See if it becomes a world economic policy to just not tariff the United States. The guy just gave me his queen. This guy decided he wanted to lose. That was weird. Yeah. I think one of the saddest things now is that it's basically impossible to build generational wealth, and it's almost prohibitively expensive to start a family. The house I have now I wouldn't be able to afford on my current salary, and I make like $20,000 more than I did when I started. And my house is not nice. It's not like a house that you shouldn't be able to afford on, like, you should be able to afford it if you work full-time basically. But houses are so inflated, and that's like the most common way that people can build up generational wealth is through real estate, because it just appreciates forever. But housing is so expensive now that the average person will just never be able to do it if you don't already have a house. And you're writing back at tonight. Yeah. But until houses are cheap, people will just be stuck being poor forever. And it's sad because there's not really a way to fix it other than an economic collapse like 2008. But there's also, that comes down to like the corporations owning houses and stuff, to where there's not an incentive for them to build more single family homes, because if they do, then it creates competition for them. And if there's less housing, there's less supply, then the demand will go up. And that's, you know, houses just go up forever. And if not many houses, they're going to go up faster. Well, artificially decreasing the actual, you can't, like, I guess you can technically do that, but that would just create more economic problems if you just artificially lower the cost of a house. The most logical way to lower the cost of a house is just through creation of additional houses. You don't have to change anything with the interest rates. You don't have to change anything. You just have to increase the supply. Right now, there's no incentive for the supply to increase, because if someone buys a house, then they're done. They're not contributing to the house. If someone is perpetually paying rent, then they will always be contributing to that economic growth of that house, or to that company that owns it. Unfortunately, you don't need government intervention for it. You just have to have, I mean, the intervention would be making, I guess, tax breaks. I don't know. Be doing something with it, but when corporations own all the houses, it makes it prohibitively expensive for anyone to buy a house, and that's by design. They of course want that to happen. That's the thing, is like, there's no incentive for them not to just perpetually own a house. I get a letter every other week from a company that wants to buy the house that I live in to have me pay rent in the house. And so that's stealing my money, because I can get the value of my house right now, but it's just stealing the future value that the house will have, so that then they can borrow against that, buy another house, and do all that forever while I'm paying rent in the house that I bought. And just companies want to do that forever. I mean, that's why they keep buying houses, because it's a really easy asset to hold. And if you buy a house and sell it, there's no economic benefit to the company that does that, other than the exact moment that they did it. When they can rent a house forever, and then that person's trapped, they can never leave, and they can just pay rent forever, and then you make money forever, and that creates value for the shareholders and increases the value of that company, and so it decreases the incentive they have even more of anyone ever buying a house. Building more houses will increase the supply, which will, in theory, make them cheaper, but there should be more incentive to create single-family homes, and there's not. There's no economic benefit to a company building them. Well, the problem with any country that's different than America is the size of the country. Like, Germany is the size of like a state. So individual states could do something like that, but as far as the federal government doing some sort of giant program like that, it's just not feasible from any sort of standpoint. A lot of countries can do things different than how America can. We have to do things on a larger scale, and it makes it prohibitive to do for the most part, unfortunately. But comparing Germany to America just doesn't make any sense to do. Like, if you just put America or Germany on a map of America, you just see how small it is in scale. So like the state of Texas could do that, or the state of Ohio could do that. But as far as like a large scale thing like that, in any sort of capacity, it's just unfeasible. Messed that up. Yeah. I don't know, Cornell, how do we get the houses to be cheaper if we don't increase the supply? I mean, he said government intervention. I agree that that wouldn't work. That would just make houses inflated even more. Even if you mandated it, it would just create, like, companies just would refuse. Nobody would build a house. There would be no economic incentive to build a house for anyone. So the supply would drop tremendously if it was, you know, government mandated to be cheaper. How do we do it, Cornell? Show us the way. Well, Cornell, I think we're kind of past that because we're not, I'm not really worried about German real estate costs. I'm more curious of like what you think the solution would be to make houses cheaper. If we agree that that's like the best way to create generational wealth, I would say that that's like the best way for like a poor person to economically increase their net worth enough to not necessarily make their, I don't want to say make their life worth living, but make it better. So I'm more curious about that personally. Not my main goal. What's curious too is I have two friends that are buying houses to rent to other people, and my dad owns 3, I believe, that he has to rent. Now my dad's situation is a little bit different because he rents near a college, so that's college students are the only people that rent, so they don't have to stay in the dorms, because that's extremely expensive, of course. But my 2 other friends that rent, I believe they just do normal people renting. It's not anything that's anything for like a college or near a college or something. I suppose the government could mandate that corporations aren't allowed to buy single-family homes. That would dramatically increase the supply. Tax assets at a higher rate. It does make sense. Well, I think if you had assets taxed at a higher rate, so like for a corporation or something, that if they owned, it could be like a progressive thing to where the more assets that you have, the more expensive it gets to purchase whatever. Or not even, what am I even saying? The more houses that you own, the more taxes you have to pay on those houses. So it's a progressive tax in that way. But yeah, you can make it like so economically bad to own a house, not for like a individual, but for like a corporation. Really, if you treat corporations not like people, if you treat them like a plague that you're trying to work against, then that would help a lot. I like how Benito comes in. We're talking about politics and he's coming in with normal advice. I thought, Benito, I could just blunder my pieces. Honestly, that's my main goal. Yeah, I think something like Cornell said, I think could be like the easiest solution is to improve the tax code when it relates to holding large amounts of property. And I think it could be a progressive thing. So like I have to pay house taxes on the house that I own. If I own 10 houses, then you can increase the amount of taxes that are owned up to a certain point to where, you know, corporations wouldn't be able to make a profit with that up to, you know, when it became to a certain level, whatever that level is. So that would be an interesting way to do it as well, because then it wouldn't be like illegal for a corporation to own a house or whatever, or own houses, or like to do it. It would just be taxed at such a high rate. And you could even use the taxes that you collect from that to allow yourself to, or just pay for different programs or whatever. Yeah, our my German friend, our public transit exists, but it is not something that, if you have a good life, that you want to ever have to depend on. I would say, I actually don't know what percentage of people it would be, but my assumption is that the vast majority of Americans have never used public transit in any capacity. Higher taxes from different asset classes. Yeah. I think also treating corporations as not people, treating them as a business, would help a lot as well, as far as improving the tax code. And there's a lot that you could do with like companies that, I don't know, I always see these random things on like Instagram where like a company will take out a loan and use their equity and blah blah blah, but it really comes down to that. It's like, if companies are able to buy up a bunch of assets, they're able to borrow against that and able to do all these terrible things on top of that. But yeah, if you started taxing, like when these companies have corporations, companies, it really should be the same thing. We're not going to have societal change. Like, the infrastructure in America is set up in a way to where we will not ever not depend on cars. That is something that 99.9% of Americans don't want to change. Being car dependent means you have car dependence, I think, is a bad way to describe it. I would say it's car independence. Like, I like the fact that I can just get in my car and go anywhere. I don't have to wait for a bus or depend on a bus. I can drive. I could get out of my car, or I could get in my car and drive to another state if I wanted. Like, it wouldn't be a difficult thing. But yeah, I mean, that's like a philosophical change that I don't think would be possible to do, because people would not want that in general. I don't want that. I don't want to have to take a bus or take a taxi or depend on other people to drive myself around. It also is like, my job is 30 minutes from, or 25 minutes from my house. I wouldn't be able to do that job if I had to take a bus to go to it. So like, the economy would collapse in America. Most people don't work near where they live, or at least where they could take, like, walk or bike or take a bus or whatever. I literally could not take buses to go to my job. I don't know, actually, I shouldn't say there is no way, but I'm pretty sure it's impossible to get a bus from where I live to my job and then back. So changing society would certainly not happen. Walking and biking is also not possible in the winter when you live in half of the country as well. And then you also have to account for bad weather. But like, I couldn't walk to work, I couldn't bike to work. It's a 30-minute drive. See, it's not just property taxes. It's taxes that progress the more properties that you own. So it's taxing essentially corporations for having larger and larger profiles or portfolios of properties. So that's a really easy thing to have codified in a tax code, is you just don't penalize people for owning one house. Or even three. The problem is when corporations buy up hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of places and neighborhoods and all of these different things, because not even just outside of houses, like with commercial properties, it makes businesses hard to start when rent is just extremely high. Like I wouldn't be able to try to start a business because you would need all of that just to pay for an empty building, and then all of the stuff to start the business and run the business. It makes it extremely difficult, where you have to take out insane loans if you're thinking of trying to do some sort of business. Well, and Cornell, I think the thing Europeans always forget and don't understand, because it's really hard to contextualize, is just how large the United States is in relation to them. Is like, if you transpose America, I feel like I've said this on like 8 different streams because it randomly always comes up, but like, if you transpose the size of America on Germany, the size is just insurmountable. Like, to go from, you could drive for more than 24 hours and still not be across the entire country. And that's driving 24 hours. That's not sleeping, stopping. That's just constant. If you're gonna go from like the longest part to not. Let's get map transposed. Let's find it. There we go. All right. Let me see if I can pull this over to here. Hold on a second. Hold. There we go. So this is America that's transposed. Let's see if I can find one with the states. Like, it's just, I mean, you see how small Germany would just be like Montana. Like, that's just one tiny country. Don't judge my typos up there if you can see them. I want to find a map of America that has the states on it that's transposed on Europe. Oh, this one's a good one. See if we can get to it. Of course, I click on the website with the picture. All right. So yeah, if we look here, it has like the population of the different things, but let's see. I don't see it. There's gotta be one. I don't want Europe transposed on America. I want America. I want America on Europe. All right, let's go. United States transposed on Europe. Getting the same thing. Getting the same thing. But like, that's comparing to their... I just want the literal like geographical size. I guess, whatever. We'll just click on this one. So actually that has Canada on it as well. Canada's massive because they have all that area that nobody lives in that's super cold, and the tundra and stuff that's up there. But yeah, when you look at just how large America is. Cornell 2020. I like that. Donald Trump's confidence with the hope and the change that Obama wanted to bring. But yeah, with this like the sheer size, like to go from one part of German, I don't think you realize that I literally cannot bike to work. If it was 75 degrees and sunny every day, I would have to be Lance Armstrong. So let's go to Google Maps and I'll tell you how many miles. I'll even put it in kilometers for you. Let's go from my house to my work, because I don't know the exact miles. So it is 15.2 miles. So let's go 15.2 miles to kilometers. So I would have to drive one direction, or ride one direction, 24 kilometers to get to my job. Okay, I'm trying to be inclusive here, Mr. Germany. I know kilos for weights, and I don't know kilometers at all. Christopher, I don't know how to do that, nor do I really want to go through all that. Yeah, like America literally can't, nor would they want to transition to that. Like biking 15 miles. And for me, like, there's people who commute even further. What is my one friend who works at the school that I used to work at? He drives 50 minutes to work each day. So he lives further. So let's see how many miles about. But yeah, it wouldn't matter how. I mean, you just have to have cars, and I think that's investing in the infrastructure let's see, Dayton. Investing in the infrastructure of like the roads and stuff is also super important, because it allows people to not destroy their cars. So his commute is approximately 48 miles. I don't think he's coming to my work. German, everyone lives 15 miles away from their job. I used to not. I used to be the exception. I used to live less than 10 minutes from my previous school that I worked at. So my previous school that I worked at, I'll tell you exactly. And I've looked at that pathway, because I even theorized that I could walk or ride a bike or whatever, but there's not even sidewalks. So like, yeah, you could have that. That's still 7 miles that I would have to have gone to my work. I don't know why it's so long right now. It's less than 10 minutes before. Oh, it's a different south. It's a different. All right. That's the one. All right. I lied. 2.5 miles. So that's not too bad, but it's also like extremely, it would be extremely dangerous because there's not sidewalks and stuff. But even if you built them, there is still many months of the year where it's not feasible because of the snow or the rain or whatever. But like me living 8 minutes from my job is extremely rare. In fact, let's look up some data. Average commute to work. Ooh, census data. All right. So it says estimates. So this says travel time. It says travel time, the mean is between like 25 and 27 minutes, which is actually, you know, it means I'm pretty average. So I'd say the average person on an average lives about 15 miles from their job. See, and that's the problem too, Mr. German, is that wherever you lived in the United States is not indicative of the entire country. So it's hard to be like, the infrastructure is bad. I agree that it is, but if you lived in California or Ohio or Texas or wherever for 5-ish years, you can't contextualize the general state of infrastructure of the entire country, because it's a lot different in Ohio versus Alabama or California or Maine. They're essentially just like different countries. Yeah, but like the city planning in a sense, like I don't know, it's weird because like it's not like we could just, if we redid America, we can make it more able to go, or more like walkable and stuff. Michigan is a terrible place. Traverse City, Michigan. Yeah, but it's, even if it's walkable, even if there was a sidewalk directly from my house to any job, like you're not going to get people just aren't going to do that. So it wouldn't change. You would have to create so many more jobs that are closer to where people live, and create so much. There's just not enough land to create that housing. Like if I wanted a job or a house that's near the school that I work at now, they would have to build so many more houses. They are building houses out there, but they're $500,000 houses that I would literally never be able to afford. So even if you had, like, you know, as you said, medium density housing, that would be bought up and people would live in it forever, and it wouldn't exist. Like there's so many people that it just would be that type of stuff just wouldn't exist. Like you would have to build so much of it because there's just so many people. I think that's another problem that America has, is that we have so many people, which is why we don't need illegal immigrants, because we have plenty of people. We just have to incentivize corporations to actually have to pay people normal wages and not the under the table that they can pay illegal immigrants. But that's a whole nother fish to fry for another day, for sure. Yeah, when I looked up on the census thing, Cornell, for the average commute time, it said it was like 25 to 27.8. So essentially it is 30 minutes, especially when you account for the fact that there's traffic. But I would say it probably averages out to that, because there probably are people that live, like if you take the rare cases of me, I'm certainly on one end of the bell curve. And then if you take the other end of the spectrum, like people who have a really far one, it probably does even out to about that 30 minutes. But that's the thing, Cornell. Even if he's been to Michigan, it doesn't provide you context of how the rest of the country is very well. Because our country is, use a favorite buzzword of the far left, we are very diverse. We are the most diverse country in the world by far. H down. I feel like H-Town should be in some sort of song. It's like a club song, like T-Pain. T-Pain writes about H-Town. I don't know. Oh, for Houston? Yeah. No, that makes sense. No, I don't listen to rap, but that reference does make sense for that. Certainly not a Houston-based rap, I'm sure. I type in TC, I get Transcendental Control, Electric Training, and On TV Tonight. So I don't know what you're talking about either. I don't get Transfer City, I should say. Why should I listen to Houston rap? He's not saying you should listen to Houston rap. All right, my political stance is we don't abbreviate any country, any state, or any city, unless it's blatantly obvious. Yeah, but TC, I guess, would be... I guess I don't really think of, like, Minnesota as like a... I don't really think about Minnesota. I'm not a big Minnesota guy. But, I guess for like Cleveland it would be, you know, the CLE, and the Cincinnati would be, you know, the CIN. I guess Houston would, well, HOU for Houston. But yeah, I don't really think about Minneapolis. That'd just be MINN, wouldn't it be, for them? I don't know. I just don't care about these countries. Right. My sister thinks I have a dog. I ain't got a dog. All right, what am I looking at? My sister didn't know that my roommates moved out. Oh, my sister ain't learned nothing about me. It's because I'm playing chess. That's why, soft kill. Don't you talk about politics when you're playing chess? I thought that's what you're supposed to do. I think we do this. He goes, Ataka. And I go, oh, I have 30 seconds. He has 3 minutes. Soft skill, it's sarcasm. Cornell, that's toxic. I love it. Ah! Oh well. Ah. I keep fixing this chair. I keep thinking the chair is sinking, but it's not. I guess I'm just getting shorter. The loading ECO database opening. America happened. The rent's too damn high. That's what happened. That's the only guy in politics that ever got it right. That's the guy who needs to run for president, Cornell. The rent's too damn high candidate. Expanding. As long as your vice president is, I think it was Herman Cain. As long as your vice president is Herman Cain, then I am down. I am 100% down. All right, mashing. I mean, you kind of just jumped in mashing, and then you talked about, you know, whatever, and then my buddy Cornell came in. Also had German mapping. He was on top of it today. I think he left though. I think we deported him back to Germany. I think that's probably what happened, unfortunately. German. It's kind of cool. My last name is, well, it's of German origin. And I also, actually, I don't sprechen die Deutsch. Herman Cain. I think I might have the wrong guy. What you have to look up is the rent is too damn high guy. Like if you search that up, actually I can do that. I got 2 screens. I don't think it was Herman Cain. No, it wasn't. It was Jimmy McMillan III. I mean, that's how you know he's smart. He's got the perfect first name. He's also a third like I am. So if Jimmy McMillan is your running mate, he's 78. But you know what? There's no age limit for the rent being too damn high. Oh, he's in a nursing home now. That's not good. You gotta hurry up and run. There's not much time. The rent is still too damn high. Germany started. Now Cornell. The first one you can blame on them, but the second one starting, a lot of that's because of the economic policies that were meant to, or created to punish them, that destroyed their economy, and then they kind of got mad a second time. So I mean, in some sense you're right, but unfortunately when the rent's too damn high, Germany will attack. If Jimmy McMillan was running the country, I mean, in a sense, they still started. Like, the first one was like 100%. Oh, he's a jerk. Wait, hold on. Yeah, I'm mashing. I already responded to you. Yeah, it's like, Hitler was German just because he started in Austria. Don't be xenophobic. That's a wild statement, though. Germany didn't start either war. Yikes. That's gonna get a big yikes for me, dog. No, Jimmy McMillan's website's not working anymore. They did it. They made the rent too damn high for him to keep his website. We'll let DuckDuckGo answer the question of who started World War I. I only want one-word answers. The Central Powers. Oh, the first one was all because of like treaties and stuff, or the Axis powers. So I mean, it was Germany, Italy, and Japan, and Germany was like the biggest influence in that. And the second one is from the economic. Cornell, leave Mashing alone. Mashing did nothing wrong. Oh, he just lost. Lean into it, Mashing. That's the smart way. Mashing did nothing wrong. Okay, so it's all coming back. So the Axis powers, like that, you know, the Archduke Francis Ferdinand being assassinated, and that kind of just created all the countries that were all aligned, all decided to attack because they're all in treaties with each other. And the second one, a lot of that was because of the economic pressures that Central Powers and Axis powers or whatever. Yeah, political and economic instability in Germany. So that would be Germany's fault for not being able to figure out how to deal with all the consequences. But it's also multifaceted. But to say Hitler wasn't German is actually hilarious. It actually does make me laugh. The Axis powers did, or the Central Powers, whatever they were called. He literally committed genocide as a German. So like to say he's not German is just false. It's just not true. It's like saying George Washington is not American because he wasn't born in America. Like it's nonsense. Hitler was German, and that's just all there is to it. It doesn't mean that you're German and you supported him too. But to say that he wasn't German is just nonsensical. He was German. German, you just used the logic that I just used to agree with me, so I appreciate that now you agree with me. So Stalin was born in the country of Georgia, which I don't even know if Georgia was technically a country back then, but he was born in Georgia and then committed genocide as a Russian. So Hitler was not born in Germany, but committed it as a German. Or for Germany, I guess, if you want to say that. He did it for Germany. You say he did it as a German for Germany. The distinction without a difference. How does it not make Stalin Russian? So just because someone was born in another country, it doesn't mean that they can't be of another country. I mean, especially in Europe, that's like saying, like, I was born in Ohio. If I moved to California, that I wouldn't be an American anymore if they were two different countries. Like, you're not moving very far to go from Austria to anywhere else. But yeah, it's weird. I mean, I guess Germany shouldn't have allowed him to be president since he wasn't born in Germany. He couldn't have an Hitler in America because he wasn't born in America, so he could never take over. Checkmate. Checkmate, Nazis. So Hitler was born close to the border with the German Empire. Dude, Europe was such a mess back then. Dude, Hitler moved to Germany when he was 3 years old. Okay. Okay. Yeah, no, he wasn't German, though. Brother. 3 years old? And he basically lived, like, close anyway? That, come on, man. Subject dismissed. It's wild to think that German or Hitler wasn't German, though. He moved there when he was 3. It'd be like, actually, it'd be very similar. So you could say that my dad is not from Ohio. He was born in North Carolina. Will he see it? He don't. He don't. He don't. He got forked. Oh no, I didn't fork him. I'm stupid. He didn't get forked. I thought I forked him. Shows how good I am at chess. Keep playing too slow. We're gonna play slow chess. My rating's probably really low on slow chess as well. Oh no, you probably want to go research how Hitler wasn't German somehow. Where he I mean, that's almost kind of, it's in a similar vein to how people that supported or like think the Confederacy wasn't fought or wasn't created to continue slavery. It's like that same sort of energy of like, well, they were fighting for the state's right, now the state's right to own slave. Like, it wasn't a good reason that they were fighting. State rights are fine and dandy, but it was for the right to slave. Hitler was German. Oh, he even became a German citizen and then took over the whole country. I'd say he's pretty German. I'd say he's pretty German. A lot more German than I am. Messed that up. Alright. Let's go to a really fast chess and lock in. Now Cornell probably had places to be. He does trading and stuff overnight, so he'd be a busy man. I don't know. You can tell me how German Hitler wasn't German. Who is the, right, I guess who's in charge, like, politically? I assume it's like a liberal party, since most European countries are just generally more liberal, but like, I know it's not Merkel anymore, but who is the leader of Germany, the president or whatever you guys got? I don't know what that, like, who's the person, the president or whoever, the main person? Friedrich Merz. I mean, it's well, I mean, I won't say it's a German conservative, but a pretty European conservative is not really conservative, but any more conservative than what Germany previously had when they let all the migrants in is probably a good thing for your country's stability. I can't imagine a country that small having that many illegal people come in, just how, like, unstable that would just create, how much instability that would create in your country. Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, mashing that was just kind of like an inappropriate thing to say. Because I will give credit to our German friend that even if he's, disagreeing or saying silly stuff, he's not saying disrespectful stuff. It's not disrespectful to be incorrect. But that was pretty egregious. I don't know, it depends what you consider. Germany doesn't even have freedom of speech, so you guys are that's actually a clown government. You guys arrest people for saying hateful things online. You guys are your guys' freedom of speech is just kind of comically bad. So you guys need to get that squared away. Not having freedom of speech is actually like a travesty. You can actually probably blame Hitler for that. No, they don't. You arrest people for saying hateful things online. There's literally news articles. The government literally will go and, like, it's not even, that's not even like a controversial thing to say. Like, they literally go and do that. Freedom of speech means that you say things that are mean to people online, and you're not allowed to do that in Germany. No, 100% you don't have freedom of speech. Because freedom of speech is not to protect against you saying a political thing. It's 100% to protect you against saying things that are offensive. And then why do they arrest people for saying hateful speech? Yeah, that is true. But to be fair, Cornell, that was in England, and they have a very similar approach to freedom of speech. Basically, not having they're a very similar approach. We don't do that here. That's an American concept to let people say what they want. I'm gonna get ChatGPT in on this. I'm gonna ask them. Yes, in Germany, freedom of speech is protected by the Constitution, but there are limits to this freedom. Hate speech, so you don't have freedom of speech. Defamation and insults. Defamation, you could argue that's not part of speech. But insults, making false statements or to harm someone's reputation or using insults could result in legal ramifications. Holocaust denial or Nazi propaganda, so that... You could argue that, like, specifically culturally, that maybe you have that, but having that means you don't have freedom of speech. He's just gonna do that. Incitement to violence, that's a pretty common one not to have, so... So you actually don't have freedom of speech. If you can't insult people, you don't have freedom of speech. That's... That to be pretty obvious. Oh no. Oh no. All of my pieces. Literally, you will get arrested if you do insult people. It's not even a... You don't have freedom. It's not like a moral thing. It's not like saying you're a bad person because your government doesn't allow you to freedom of speech. It's just an objective fact. It's not even... That is not even a debate. You actually don't have... Freedom of speech means that you can say things that people don't like, that you cannot be arrested for saying insults and stuff like that. Well, and the problem with that is that you say this is hate speech and I feel unsafe, and then people don't know what that means because it's a nebulous term. Hate speech ends up just becoming speech that people don't like. Because you can say anything is hate speech, and if anything is hate speech, then nothing is hate speech, or everything is hate speech. Making false statements, or yeah, using insults could result in legal action, including fines and imprisonment. And the fact that you cannot, and this is not advocating for that, but if you cannot say things about Hitler or do denial of the Holocaust, then literally you don't have freedom of speech. And that's fine if that's like a policy of the country. Like that's not a moral thing that you're doing incorrect, but it means you do not have freedom of speech. Look up the Westboro Baptist Church and realize how difficult it is for people in America to be consistent in the viewpoint that they should have freedom of speech. Actually, the Westboro Baptist Church is probably one of the best examples of how, not that they're good. This is not an argument for them. They are a very, very bad group of people. But it's perhaps the best evidence of how America is able to have, or able to demonstrate that we have freedom of speech, even for really kind of like gross and detestable groups. See, but you don't have power. You have people that get arrested for saying things on the internet. So you're saying some people don't get arrested, therefore everyone won't get arrested. Like, it just happens. Like, it's not even like I'm making it up either. It's just something that happens. And I don't understand why you're trying to defend your government with it, because that doesn't make you a bad person. I don't think that you are arresting people, or you want to arrest people that are saying like you don't believe in it, but your government does not. And it's not even like I said, it's not even a debatable position, really. It's just the policy of your government. Which is fine. Not a good policy, but it is one nevertheless. I'm like RB with a very good situational humor. It's funny. Oh. It doesn't matter whether, so look up Westboro Baptist Church. Like, that's the best equivalent that America has as far as, like, I would say, I don't want to say abhorrent freedom of speech, but like speech that nobody agrees with, that everybody hates. That is by far the best example. Gosh, I keep losing. I don't even know who that person is, German. Is that... I don't even know who you're talking about. Is that a political channel or something? Oh. Well, that's a channel that you know about. I've never heard of them. I don't know what poll means. Like just a political channel? He's saying that Hitler's not German and that Germany has freedom of speech. He cannot keep getting away with this. Not when the rent's too damn high. We need Jimmy McMillan III to run the country. Yeah, so while Germany generally supports generally freedom of speech, there are laws that restrict speech. So you don't. They say, but... Yeah, but what about I think it's Westboro, O-R-O, but it could be borough like that. Oh, Fama, that's part of the thing, is German mapping is saying that Hitler's not German, because he was born in Austria. Westboro, there you go. Yeah, so like, they are allowed to do what they want, or to, you know, protest how they view fit, or to have their speech, and they've been sued, or they've been taken to court, and they win because America has freedom of speech. I would venture to say that 99.999% of people in America would not mind if they never said a single thing ever again in any context, but we have freedom of speech, so they get to say their disgusting things. it's an immigrant who comes. Yeah, if you're an immigrant, then you become from that country. I mean, it also depends on the context as well. It's like, if you are, let's say that you're my age and I moved to Mexico, I would say that I'm not from Mexico, but I grew up most of my life. If you're a child and you're born in another country, just like I would say my dad is from Ohio, even though he was technically born in North Carolina. So like, I think that part of the context is important as well, is like, how long did you live in a certain place? Or when did you move to that certain place? How can you connect speech to a mass casualty or a mass shooting event or something like that? Because I think you're going to struggle in that. No, Cornell, what I'm saying is like the time frame for when they're brought. So like a baby that was brought in, like adopted right away, I would say they're definitely, I would say that they're American, they're from America or whatever. But if, like, I use myself as an example, if I move to Mexico next week, I wouldn't start saying that I'm from Mexico. Maybe if I lived there for, 30 years maybe, but it would seem like, it would seem incorrect to say. I didn't even see what Softkill said. I missed that. I just saw Cornell's reply. Now, RB, you're here for the comedic relief. This guy's cooking me. Guy's lucky I'm not paying attention. You're real lucky, pal. But hey, Cornell, be nice about that. My chest rate is about to be below 900 at the rate I'm at. No weird. No, only weird stuff. I mean, it's fun to talk about this stuff. It's more fun than that than to try to talk about how bad I am at chess, that's for sure. Uh-oh, we're having a chess measuring contest. Well, chess skill is not a correlative to... I mean, I guess it isn't. It probably is correlative to IQ. But not a 1-to-1, 100%. Cornell is on a rampage. That's why he's gonna run for president. Under the rent's too damn high party. RB getting cooked. Why? I don't like it. Honestly, this stream's been kind of lit. Cornell, your comment reminds me of the was it Billy Madison? Your answer is so wrong. I reward you no points to make God have mercy on your soul. Finally winning a game, I guess because I've lost like 8 straight, so I'm going to be playing someone that's as bad as I am. Have a good one, RB. I think that means you're leaving. Dude, he's got you cooked, Cornell. He's got quotes. You're getting roasted like a peanut. It's unfortunate. You hate to see it. Ooh, no punctuation. Yes. Best part is I'm not losing either. Alright, I got one more dub. One more win. And it's time for me to go to bed so I can ride my bike 15.2 miles to work tomorrow. Uh-oh. ChatGPT has entered the chat. Perhaps they'd be less bad. That doesn't sound right though. Perhaps they would be less bad. They would be worse. Next subject. We moved on. We're insulting each other. What more do you want, Mashing? We stopped talking about politics. We're on a roast battle. My packets. I'm 36. I'm not. I'm 36, I'm a man. That's what actually that reminds me of. The old, what was it, Oklahoma State football coach? I'm 40, I'm a man. Jeremy comes back just to try to pile on. Pretty toxic. Mashing, you're definitely not 98. I tell students I'm 100 when they ask. Nine. You're 9. Oh, pretty lit. we caught a draw. We all live in Germany, I think. It's a German stream. That's why I'm speaking in English. That's diabolical, Cornell. Oh. If you can't flip the bell curve around, it's still a bell curve. Bell curve is still a bell curve. It's an even distribution on both sides of the bell curve, so flipping it's redundant. Share my tasty cracks. I do like mashing, keeping it light. He took the insult in stride. I was told I eat crabs. What? Mashing's just trying to be kind. Of course he's gonna share the crayons. PC. Jer, what's soft kill do to you? Why? Leave alone. German mapping came in like a WWE guy with a metal chair. Slamming. Oh, that's good. What did he do? Oh, poor soft kill. I think we've determined that mashing is in fact a United States Marine. It's 40% what? 40% obese. He's catching shots across the bow. Whew, that was good. It's just German mapping with the steel chair from the top rope for no reason. Oh. Soft skill, you're 36, you don't have school anymore. I have school tomorrow though, because I'm a teacher. Unless you're a teacher too, I guess. I got 4 seconds, I'm cooked. Oh yeah, that whooshed over me. Alright, I lost. I played too slow! One more dub. Ah! Yeah! Yeah, no detention. You were sharing your crayons. That's being safe and kind. It's safe and kind to share your snacks. As long as you brought enough for the whole class. Did you bring enough crayons for the whole class? Alright, I think it is confirmed that Softkill and Cornell are both about the same age. Frankly, I blame German mapping for not continuing the political talk, because now it's turned into a rap battle. Thanks, German mapping. You ruined our lives. You ruined everything. I think we just need to sit around the fire and just munch on some crayons together. Well, kumbaya. The real question has kiwi flavor. Social policy. Thanks, mate. That's the least American phrase. I thought this was America. We only have well, actually two foreigners. Alright, we gotta lock in, boys. Which crayon is best? I would say the red crayons. I vote red crayons. They probably taste like cherry. I vote red crayons too. Let's finish losing our brain cells. What colored crayons? What colored crayons are we? Soft skill. What color crayons are we eating? That's what we're just kidding. We've changed the top. What color crayons? I voted red crayons. Okay, red crayons. I'm glad we can agree red crayons are the best tasting crayons. Rock with Grail. He needs the fancy crayons. The sophisticated black rose art. Is it because it's black licorice? I don't know what those taste like. If it's black licorice, I'm definitely not for those. That's for sure. Alcoholic crayon. Alright, we're ending on a dub. I'm actually playing well now, I'm just playing slow. So we're talking about cranes. You gotta lock in, boys. Imagine you're not supposed to eat pencils, only cranes. Shouldn't talk about the teeth. Their teeth would disagree with that. Now, don't let the expense of our healthcare tell you that the quality of it's bad. America has good healthcare quality. It just costs too much. That is so very true. Healthcare, we're back on it, boys. We're locked in. Yeah, that's another myth. America healthcare is bad. It's expensive. That doesn't make it bad. You could say prohibitively expensive, but still pretty good. Still pretty nice. Not another econ policy. Well, and that's a tricky thing, German mapping. It's not an economic policy to say that America has good healthcare, good quality healthcare. It's an economic policy to say it's too expensive, but I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing simply the fact that America has good quality healthcare. If you want a procedure, you can pay and go get it. It might be prohibitively expensive, but you can get it. And you could argue that it's good quality. A lot of people come to America to get health care. Yeah, so like, that's all I'm saying. So it's not, I don't even think it's a controversial thing to say. Welcome to Eggland. What? Ooh, we got it, boys. We did it. We have solved the world's problems. Now, soft skill, RB. Everyone that's in here, I think the one policy, political or whatnot, that we all can agree on is that term limits should be it should be in every government. Every government should have term limits, and it should be 2 or whatever it is. We can disagree with that, but every government position federally should have term limits. And with that being said, we have solved the world's problems. I have ended on a win, which is my goal. Up to 13 concurrent viewers, which is pretty dope for a little old stream like myself that's just playing chess right now. I don't know. No, every federal elected position. If it's an elected position, it should have a term limit. So in terms of America, because this is too hard to so for like America, the Senate and the House of Representatives and the federal government should be, but I don't know. I would say more so than not, but yeah, term limits for federal employees that are elected. So obviously, you could argue that Supreme Court justices shouldn't be in on that. I think that they can be separate, but House and Senate term limits, get more specific. But we're not talking about the other countries. I don't know how they're all set up. They got little countries, so they can solve their little problems their own special way. But but thanks for the laughs, guys. I know we got heated in here. We figured out how to solve all the world's problems, which is the goal of my chess hangout. Let's try not to crash out, was actually to solve the world's problems. So I think in conclusion that if we forced world leaders to play chess and talk about their problems, they would solve everything pretty efficiently, because they would just start fighting and wars would start. So that would be a solution, not a good one, but it would be one nevertheless. Rip into each other. This is true. So I think that's how we decide who gets to decide economic policy, is through chess games, and then we go with that. So world leaders have to play chess, and if they blunder, then you just lose all your money. Oh, all right, guys. Deuces. Have a good night. Take care.